All right. Yeah, you got your glove on.
Okay.
We're interviewing now. We got it turned on,
Okay.
and we're Reviewer TV here. We're interviewing Kali Roi in Hollywood. She's a Hollywood artist, painter, and rock scene personality.
Just kidding.
And, we were talking a little bit about the mystical aspect of what happened last night with the tequila sunrises.
You're so funny.
I know.
That's
And
so funny.
I don't want to go into that on video. I can put that in. I can write about that in a post that's separate. But
Okay.
And aside from that, even before we had talked about that, last night you were mentioning in your art that you are a mystic or into mysticism.
A mystic artist. Well, I go by mystic artist. Not that the art is mystical, but by virtue of me being mystical, I classify myself as a mystic artist.
Okay.
So I'm both. So I'm a mystic and an artist. And so by virtue of that, you get certain mystical happenings in life.
And
Like the tequila sunrise.
Right, that was
Yeah.
a big coincidence. Having a tequila sunrise, when I was thinking about having that all day, not all day, but on the way over, for a long time, I decided I was going to order tequila sunrises, and you just happened to be drinking one when I sat down.
Coincidence or
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Synchronicity. Yeah.
And that's not your usual drink. Yeah, you don't typically drink a tequila
No,
sunrise.
I probably would have had a
You want
Guinness. I
one.
normally had a Guinness, but I haven't had like a nice, juice drink for a long time. And I was just like, how about a tequila sunrise, but with rum instead? So it was kind of very, a random thing. That happens all the time though. And that's how we struck up a conversation. So interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But talk more, Kali Roi, a little bit about your mystical interests with art. I noticed that one of your paintings is a image of Medusa. Medusa is Joan Crawford.
This is my Joan Crawford Medusa.
Okay, we'll look at that, and then behind you over there in the corner is the America is a whore.
Yeah, that's
Got
Lady Babylon.
Big boobs on Lady Babylon, and it looks like it's got a bomb in there, a couple of bombs
There's
maybe
bombs
down below.
on her corset flying across each other.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you. And of course, it's part of the red, white, and I call it the red, white, and black series. So it's red, white, and blue, soon to be black. America's forward as everybody else's watch your back. So part of the performance piece.
All right.
Yeah.
That would be slam poetry combined with rap.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just, everything has its own energy. It's just spoken word poetry. I call it lyrical dialectic. So, there's different. That one had more of a slam poetry presentation, but there are others that are very sensual and, very rich and deep, and they take you into like a dark, moody place full of sex and violence.
Okay.
So yeah.
I don't have you mic'd, so unfortunately I'm hoping that you'll be loud enough for the sound levels. I don't want to lose you when you're talking
Okay.
about anything, but
That's cool. Are you going to edit this?
no.
No. Okay, good.
I do all raw.
Just
I like
raw.
to
No, I
I
like it that way
I don't
too.
like to
I get
curate
it.
information. I like to bring information to my readers, my listeners, my viewers as
No,
they
I
come.
get it. I like that too. Just kind of casual conversation and back and forth. Don't worry, he's cool.
No, I'm just looking at the
Trevor.
doc. You're house sitting a Korean Jindo, and I looked it up
Chubby.
on Google here.
Chubby.
He's a good-looking dog, and he looks very indicative of the breed. He's he's got the classic look of that breed. He's a
Yeah,
good-looking
dude.
dog.
He's like, I feel like I'm living with a wolf. He's kind of.
He does have a very feral look to him.
He's very wolf-like. When he growls at you, I'm telling you, I was taken aback. It was like, whoa, this is a wild creature that could potentially tear me up. And it's so interesting that they're so docile and tame and so amenable to our instruction.
Hopefully.
Yo, no, he is, totally. Like, I'm not afraid of him, but I was when he growled at me. Anyway.
And your name is Kali Roi. You were saying last
Yeah.
night that is your deity?
So it's my Greek name is Kali Roi, and in Greek that means good flow as pertaining to a moving stream of water. So it's really all about the flow, and so my work and my life sort of embodied that. And then Kali has been my deity. So, you know, when I first started learning about
Is that Kali Ma?
the spiritual path, yeah.
Okay.
Kali was the deity I was drawn to, and she was very dark and powerful, and she kind of saves the day, you know. And so I started, I don't want to say worshiping, but she was very much on my mind. And then I started sort of becoming her, you know, and I didn't even realize it was happening, like visually. You know, like for Halloween, let's say I'd dress up, I'd paint myself all blue and just be like half naked doing like, you know, these wild dances, or black with like knife dancing and this kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
And it was just very natural. Like it wasn't even planned. It kind of would just happen. I'd just like wake up and go like, oh, I think I'll paint myself black today. And as I did, it was like, oh, this feels fantastic. Like I really enjoyed it, and I got really into it. And then, you know, in conjunction with the spiritual practices, you know, like very intense yogic practices, aesthetic practices, you know, whether it was fasting or, what do you call it, when you, sense deprivation.
Oh,
you know,
isolation tank stuff?
Kind
Sensory
of.
deprivation?
Yeah, doing sensory deprivation or going on a complete silence for a few days, things like that. And so I was really like pushing myself harder and harder, and I had, you know, in the back of my mind and in my higher mind, I always had this like, you know, this goal of achieving self-realization, but like you're gonna like save the world somehow. It was very idealistic, you know. So who knows?
Well, I think a lot of those deities from mythology, you know, be it from the Eastern, or, you know, like where Kali Ma is from, or Greek, Roman, and anywhere.
Right.
They all represent what is idealized for a lot of people, and to kind of adhere to. If you look at one of them and you go, okay, that's the one I want to focus on, then you're kind of trying to draw those character traits into yourself.
Right. So, well, they're archetypes, and
Yeah.
one would say that they're living archetypes based on energies and ideas.
Yeah.
So the energy behind the idea, which is represented in a symbolic way as a person. And so you're tapping into that energy, and then you're given or you're drawn to that symbolism, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this, it wasn't like I was sitting around going, oh, I think I'm going to choose my deity, because consciously I would probably choose somebody like Athena, you know, which is more familiar. It's more, you know, it's also a warrior goddess, but she's wise and she's logical. But no, it was a very specific energy, and I think it was.
Kali Ma's more warlike, isn't she?
Well, she's freaking intense, you know, and she's also completely misunderstood. So she does have a warlike aspect to her, but when you take apart the symbolism of her person, which later on I started to, you know, study, she's really about intellect as well. And she's also been associated with the Medusa. So the Medusa is the Greek version of Kali in a way. She's the mask of the goddess. And so, yeah, I thought it was very interesting that it all kind of came to me. It wasn't something I was looking for. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, I'm looking for a goddess to rule my life or to attribute myself to or anything like that.
Do you want to point out some of the things about the Medusa painting?
My
that
Joan
you've done?
Crawford Medusa, I fucking love it.
Really?
It's so funny. Yeah.
Is it-
So this is, you have to come in close and get like her eyeballs because they're so like intense.
Okay.
Oh, here it goes. So once you get into it, like get close to it, it kind of sucks you in more so than when you're further away.
Uh-huh.
So I'd wanted to do some giant faces, like just some women's faces with like different colors, or you know, and then I wanted to do monsters. Those are just like two random conscious thoughts. But then I just hit the paper, and this is what happened. And on that day, this is the funny part. I'd been on Instagram like for a couple of hours, and I ran through this Joan Crawford meme where she's just going off. She's like, don't fuck with me, fellas. This isn't my first rodeo. And I was just like, I kept looking at it over and over, and we were joking with a friend of mine. It was Faye Dunaway playing Joan Crawford in Mommy Dearest.
That's one that everyone associates with.
Right, so my friend posted it, and I was like looking at it, we were joking back and forth, so I saw it like maybe 8 times, and I guess it just stuck in my head.
And the medium
This is paint on paper.
what kind of paint?
Acrylic.
Okay.
Yeah, which I really like. I started painting on paper, and I like it a lot, and I really love the way it feels, and it's so much easier once you're finished. Its eyeballs are so crazy. And I love this area. Once it's done, then I can just roll it up and I have a room. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, but I like the paper. It actually feels like leather once it's painted. Mm. You know, like when you touch it.
It really grabs your attention the moment you walk in the room.
Yeah, and then when you get close to it, it really sucks you in.
Oh yeah.
So people have like noticed it before. They're like, "Oh, it's really cool, whatever." I'm like, "Walk right up to it," and they're like, "Holy shit!" Like it's just the impact.
Was this done for a client or for yourself?
No, this is just something like that I did. You know, I just work to do my work, and I do stuff that inspires me, and a lot of it is just unconscious. So the Medusa is obviously like a reigning symbol in my life. I have a Medusa tattoo.
Oh, you do?
I do. And the Medusa, the whole, mythology of the Medusa as being this intimidating female who intimidates with her intellect, but she used to be this beautiful deity, and she's the shield. She's on the shield of the goddess Athena as a protector, much the same way that Kali comes out of the mouth of Durga. Durga is the goddess incarnate, and Kali rises up when all the wars are coming and it's the end of the world. Kali rises up and comes out of her mouth, and she's like the dark fuck you out of a female source, so it's the female fighting back with that dark energy.
Very Mediterranean Medusa is too.
Yeah, exactly. So the Joan Crawford thing, that meme of her saying, "Don't fuck with me, fellows," that embodies that spirit of Medusa and Kali. And it just stuck in my mind, and I guess it came out on paper. Yeah, she's hilarious.
Got a very severe beauty to her.
Yeah, it's cool. And I like the colors. I just like how the colors came out, That's the thing, is I don't really know. Like, I'm not sitting there thinking, oh, well, I'm going to do this and that. It's telling me. So I just set up my shit. I put my colors there, and something tells me, oh, use the green, use the yellow, and it's completely instinctual. See, like here, I just have it covered up, so it's really simple. And I just started, with this roller. All of this is rolled on, like this roller, and I honestly, and I'm being frank with you, because I still love watching the process as I'm doing it. So I'm just rolling it. I have no idea what I'm going to do, except that I'm going to do a face. That's it. And I'm rolling it, and I'm just going with the energy of it. So the energy is taking you.
So you didn't set out going, okay, I'm going to make a Joan Crawford Medusa?
No, nothing. No, I just put the paper up there, and I started rolling the yellow, and I knew I wanted to that's the only conscious thought was, I'm going to make a face. And as I started painting, then this came out, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah. So I just went with it. Yeah.
And behind you is the America is a Whore one, and you said that was part of a poetry event piece that was or in conjunction with the Belly Up in San Diego?
At the Belly Up, I performed it at the Belly Up. I recited it at the Belly Up.
It was your poem?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything's original.
Yeah, well, I just had to confirm that.
Yeah, of course. So this is Lady Babylon. She's kind of the embodiment of sort of American ideals. Go on, Chubby. Yeah. So you have like the red, white, and blue, but it's more like black, a lot of black. You've got the bombs going on here. She's corseted. She's like fake big-breasted. She's strong. And there's a real lip print. That's my actual lip print there. And it was done really fast. So what I love about this piece is it's not painterly in the old-fashioned sense of painting, like let's say that one that you'll see later. But it was like I just went on there on this wood, and this paint is actually on top of white glossy paint. So you see these marks that it's created. It's like the brush strokes, you can really see it. So it was like really slick. And then this is all finger painting. So I literally went in there and did this, and then did the nipples, and then bam, 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 right? The whole thing like this with fingers.
How long would you say it took for everything?
Chubby. Not long. So the initial, that initial thing was like, it's really fast. Like it just happens in a few minutes. And then I went in and refined it. Then I did the same thing with brush, you know, and did the brush strokes.
Yeah, the lacing
and then
probably
just refined
was
it.
a little bit more detailed, huh?
And then the stars. But no, it didn't take long at all. But the thing is, it's a buildup, right? So like this came when I was living in San Diego.
Lucadia?
No, actually, I was in Oceanside, and I did it in the garage. And it's kind of, you know, I was living with people that kind of represented the American dream gone bad. And they were people who had been very successful. One was a pop star, and then they kind of fell and went into trauma. And it was like just, you know, drugs. And hey, chill out.
Oh, I'm getting close to him, huh?
It's someone's at the door.
Okay.
So
I was about to step on him.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got my attention there.
no, it's okay. It's okay. Chill. Look at Chubby. You're a star now. So, and then at the same time, it makes you think about America, like as someone who's, okay, I'm only Canadian, but it's still foreign. We have a different policy. And so the warring aspect, I'm living near Camp Pendleton.
Canadian's great. You shouldn't say only Canadian.
No, but I'm saying, you know, it's you know, Canadians, that's the way we are. It's that humility of like, oh, we're only Canadian.
Like our best ally. We've never had a war with them or anything.
Yeah. Secretly, we think we're the greatest country in the world, but, you know, it's not something that, you know, we say. Yeah, of course, it's Canada, so you don't think it's different, but it really is. And when that started to hit me about the politics and the war policies and, you know, the military-industrial complex and how it's tied in with everything that's affecting us, it was really kind of in my mind.
When was this made?
So I think this was, what year was this? I think this was 210. No, 212. 212, 13, 14, maybe 215. I'm trying to think because I landed there in 212 and then I ended up staying there for like 3 years or something. Yeah.
It would have been during Obama's reign. I'm trying to think of anything
it was
significant that was happening with...
Oh, I think it was just stuff that's on my mind, stuff that I think about, you know, like in general, because it's different. Like we're a peaceful nation. Canada's like peace, so it's not something that I deal with seeing soldiers all the time, right? So I'm in Pendleton right by there, and there's all these soldiers and that whole thing. So it kind of opened the door to thinking about that, and then you realize how that's tied in with
They were ending. They were.
You know,
they were ending. Obama was pulling the troops out of Afghanistan and Iraq at that time. So there was a lot of war in the political dialogue at the time when they were scaling down. People were saying, "Are we doing it too soon?" This and that.
And they got Osama bin Laden, and just the way that all of that is kind of put out to us and how we receive it. You know, it's like, yeah, they got him in this and that. It's like.
And that's a big nexus for the whole war machine of America, Camp Pendleton with the Marines.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we need a bad guy to kill, so let's, you know, let's set up some, you know, and the person that I was staying with, her dad, who had passed away, was a CIA agent. And we used to have these really in-depth conversations, and I have it on film, which I never released because at the time, you know, I was like, I don't know if I want to get involved. But he basically stated that the CIA agenda is to go into countries that have resources, destabilize their economy, their political system, create revolutions, get rid of their leader, and then step in with the guise of freedom as capitalism, so that we can continue to market our wares.
That's only if they don't play our game with us.
Yeah.
If they'll play ball, then
you're so blasé about it, you know. And I was like totally traumatized. Like I'm getting all this information. I'm like, oh my god, I can't. How am I going to do this? And so a lot of it came out and so America as a whore. That piece came out because of that. You know, thinking about that. But yeah. Yeah.
Well, would you like to show some other pieces for us here?
Let's go over here.
In the nice studio.
Can I turn this over this way?
Watch out, Chevy. Chevy's got it. Chevy wants to be on film. He wants to be on camera.
Well, do you blame him? Look how good looking he is.
He's a good looking dog,
He's a good looking dog.
He really is.
Okay, so
Uh-oh.
this is a piece I started, yeah.
Well, this guy's
It's a sleeping
rather,
satyr.
he's rather, he's a sleeping satyr.
He's a sleeping satyr. It's a
Satyr.
I never knew how to pronounce
Satyr.
that.
Yeah, I think you're
Satyr?
pronouncing it right.
I think it's
I just want to make sure I'm getting you're not saying Saturn like the god or
No,
the
not
planet.
Saturn,
It's a
S-A-T-Y-R.
yeah, got it.
He's a sleeping satyr, and I've always wanted to paint this. I love this image. So this is actually a statue. It's a
He
marble
doesn't look like
statue.
he's sleeping though.
Yeah, he's chilling.
In that
He's totally-
pose, how would
yeah,
you
yeah.
sleep in that pose?
Well, you have to imagine being a satyr and you're out, actually he's not is he a satyr? Yeah. So he's out there in the forest, totally at one with the universe, completely relaxed in his nudity. Remember, this was a time when people were running around naked. So I think I just love
Well, the
that.
Greeks were kind of into that, weren't they?
Well,
Nudity all the time, especially athletes. The athletes would always be naked.
Well, the
was
Greeks
their
were all
thing.
about the human body as being beautiful.
It wasn't a concept of vulnerability to them. It was a concept of being powerful. If you're an athlete,
Exactly.
an Olympic athlete, you should be naked because nature or the gods have blessed you with this great talent, right? So show it off.
And I mean, I don't think it was like show off. It's just more like it's practical. Like, what are you going to wear? You want to be streamlined. You're just this creature that's like, you're like a creature.
Yeah.
Right? So you're not going to ask a horse to wear a dress. It's like,
Right.
you're like, if you want complete fluidity and power, that horse is running free. Think of a stallion running on the beach. It's impeded the minute you put something on it,
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are making friends. So
Yeah.
I think that's why this natural nudity. Anyway, this is more of a Roman interpretation, but I love the statue, and so I started doing it. It's not perfect, and it's not quite there yet, but the way I work is like I'll pick pieces to do as a discipline to practice, right? So you're practicing. It's like running a race. You want to practice first, and then you run the race. So this is like practicing the art of painting, the eye of coordinating, the eye and the hand and so forth. And then, you hit the other pieces and you kind of go off without thinking, without anything. And I think you have to do that, You
Nice.
have to do that. This one is the culmination of, so it probably just looks like what it is, controlled chaos to you. Good boy, Chubby. Look at that pooch. Good boy.
This is a happy spot now.
Yeah, he's so good. All right. So this is actually the culmination of a series of line drawings that are, incredibly complex and layered, and they're much more like a puzzle that once you start controlling what's going to be positive, what's going to be negative. And on this one, I just kind of really cut loose. So it was like pure energy. I didn't know what I was going to do. Same thing. Put up the paper, pick the color, and it just started happening. It was like this, right? And so it becomes like this dance, like with your arms. And I guess that's why, I'm also Lady Octopi. And then I went in and just...
Oh, your IG name.
My G name. Yeah, well, it's my moniker. It's a moniker, so it's
Oh, really?
sort of symbolic.
Is that what you've chosen to work under, Lady Octopi?
Lady
It's
Octopi.
Your business name? Kind of.
Yeah, I guess
Your stage name.
you're so American. It has to be a business name. It's like is Kali a business name?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? Exactly.
It's not like she's going to sue you.
Kali
She's not going to come
Incorporated.
after you for it, is she? Hopefully.
No, I think we're very close.
She doesn't have a
No.
trademark, I don't think.
Yeah.
But this is I like the balance of it. It's so busy and it's got a real good balance. It's like there's not one area that's
Yeah, no,
more dense than the other, or the balance.
Exactly.
It's got a
Thank
good.
you
it's
for
got a good-
noticing. That's exactly it, because it is balanced through all the chaos and everything. And I have to say, this is one of the pieces that I really unleashed at. You know what I mean? So the other ones, like you have some like this one, where it's a lot more controlled and it's illustrated, and then there's a whole series of line drawings that I can't explain them until you see them. They're completely line and they're very abstract. And but this one is like completely out of control, but at the same time completely in control, which is kind of how I feel.
Do you want to tell me more about this one?
Which one?
This one right here?
Oh, isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
It's called a Dream Breather.
Okay.
And so
Is that a little face in the right hand side?
this one right over here.
Yeah, that guy.
It's a little robot guy.
Oh.
So the idea of being, so see how it's kind of like, it's kind of like wind or tar. You can't really tell, right? And I think a lot of that, my work is like that, like positive and negative space are questioned. And so with this one, it looks like it's a flowing like water, but it's dark like tar. So the idea being that this is the spirit of essence. And at the top, you'll see a face, and it's blowing out, you know, it looks like flowers or patterns. So it's like a growth that's coming. And it's called the dreamer dreams the dream breather. So it's kind of like, you know, what is spirit? What is solid? And in the middle of it, see, like right at the bottom, there's like the eye. So it's kind of like this, the all-seeing eye, but it's a little bit dark here, right? And like the way I think of it is like energy is it's the embodiment of energy, but it's also creating other energies. So like, see, like the butterflies are being released here. And then in the back you have I call them the mourners, but it's like figures of people sort of watching, you know? And then the little robot guy, I have no idea why that came to me. I just did it. I don't ask questions. I just do it.
I like it.
Yeah, me too.
I like that. I like the surreal kind of imagery here.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I find it hard to explain. Like in my mind, I know exactly what it is, but putting it into words, I find is more difficult.
Yeah, I like the monochrome black and white about it. Is it pencil?
Yeah, it's
graphite.
Pencil. It's graphite on paper.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, do you have one other piece you'd like to show us?
Sure. You want? This is kind of like my trademark piece. You can stand over here if you want.
Okay. Yeah. It's got good light here. It looks like a mouth.
Really? It's
on the right hand
interesting.
side.
So when you're looking at abstract work, you shouldn't look for figures or anything like that. It's really about kind of...
One can't help it sometimes, though.
What is it?
Well, sometimes one can't help it. If you see an image in an abstract piece,
right,
and you kind of pops in your mind, then it pops in your mind.
Yeah.
But it looks like those look like teeth, kind of, in the right hand side.
Where?
Right hand side, halfway down.
Chubby, get out of here.
Like kind of like a mouth. I see teeth. And then the swirl. I don't want to walk over there and walk across the dog and have him nip at me.
No, he's not going to nip you. Oh, where do you see?
A little higher, right there.
Here?
Yeah, right there. Those are teeth.
Oh, this.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I never even saw that. Oh, that's very cartoony. Oh my God, now that's all I can see.
Right above
it. It's like a profile
then there's the nose.
face.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
See?
It looks like that fucking skateboarder sticker, right?
Yeah, now they mentioned it. But when you pointed it out to me and I walked back, that was the first impression I got.
That's hilarious. See, now
nice.
That's all I see now. But no, that's not.
It looks like great made out of great bubble gum.
Oh man.
Yummy.
Wow.
Good stuff. I used to love that. Used to have that when I was a kid.
It's interesting. Your perception actually makes me aware of my perception.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Two heads are better than one.
Not always.
Sure.
It's hard. It's like that Albanian flag, right? The two eagles. Yeah, what happens if they start fighting? Like, that's such a great metaphor.
Isn't that a Roman thing too? Or the Russians have that? There's so many cultures that have that, the two-headed church and state.
Is it?
This is supposed to represent church and state.
Really?
I believe so, yeah.
Well, yeah.
On the same body.
Survive. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
But it wouldn't do. I mean, if it's a bird of prey, it's like how would they hunt that way? You know, the two heads.
You have to cooperate. That's the thing. You have to work in unison. I always thought of it as a metaphor for partnership, but for relationships and just people, you know. But yeah, it's definitely I could see that for church and state.
There was a two-headed bat skeleton that I saw one time from a museum, and I was thinking, that'd be great for 360 degree echolocation. You know how they get around with echolocation?
No.
Only they send out little beep,
the bats.
and then they hear the bats.
Yeah.
And if it was a bat, he could have theoretically 360 degree echolocation.
Yeah. Interesting.
But they never survive.
I'm sorry, I got like if I stall, it's because I was actually seeing a bat. I'm like imagining having that kind of 360, and I thought, well, yeah, that's what it's like having instincts, right?
Could be your next painting.
No. It's like it's really how it is. Like you're kind of absorbing all the time, and then you just kind of go. Do you know? It's like it just made me realize that.
Yeah.
It's like radar. having an instinct. Having instincts is like having radar. Yeah. Anyway, no, this is was inspired from downtown, and the only visual I could offer is like, see, like this area here. It's kind of like a bridge, and I would walk over the 4th Street Bridge all the time and look down, and it was really raining when I painted this, so there's like this wet quality to it, and I did it in purple.
When did you paint it?
Oh, this was downtown, when I was downtown, I think between 2005 and 2010.
Okay, you lived downtown at that time?
Oh yeah, I've lived downtown, like my first time downtown was 1994.
Oh wow.
3,000 square feet for $1,000. And it was ghost town. It was just me, Gronk was my neighbor, and the guy that did the fuck t-shirts, he was down the street, and we all kind of knew each other, but everybody kind of kept to themselves, and it was ghost town, man. There was nothing there. I used to roller skate in the studio just to answer the phone, because this was before cell phones.
Oh wow.
So, I'd have to keep the roller skates on and like skate down to get the phone and then get skate back.
Classic.
It was great. It was so wild then.
And you made this then?
No, that was the first time I was downtown. This is a way after that, but I just wanted to mention it because it's been on my mind. Like when we were downtown, we had so much freedom. I used to paint like to live bands. So imagine that. Like we'd have like, here, I can move this for you, just say so. So like we'd have like Greg St. John. He was so awesome, and he had this space. He got all these spaces together downtown and put on these shows, and he had like a whole building. And so imagine like metal bands playing, right? And fucking people everywhere. And he's like, he'd give me a 30-foot wall and just set up some paint. I mean, buckets of paint, not like this shit right here. And and the band's playing, and you just like fucking pop, pop, pop. And then like fucking an hour, 2 hours later, there was like a 6-foot fat woman engulfed in flames, and I'm like covered in paint, and everybody around me is covered in paint. And I remember like, people like sitting there, and they're like, yeah, that's totally art, got it.
That's the scene.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have that freedom now. So it's like I can't find a band that wants to do it. I can't find a venue that would allow it. I can't find a gallery that wants it. That's why I'm doing this. So like if you're hearing this and it sounds interesting, like fucking freedom, man.
Look up Lady Octopi on Instagram.
Thank you.
They've raised the cost of living so high all over the country that the art scenes are dying. Artists can't afford $2,000 a month rent. Artists can't afford to live in a place where they can't have time to be creative, because being creative takes a lot of time and energy. You have to have that incubation period. And if you're waking up every day going, oh man, I gotta make rent, I gotta go out there and go hit the salt mines, and that's why there's like no music scene anymore. That Napster and the record industry is dead. But I mean, just everything has changed. There's been such a huge change in the last 20 years.
Now I see it as part of the challenge. The only thing I'm whining about, because I think everything's part of the challenge of adapting. Like you gotta go through that small part of the funnel where you're struggling and just keep doing it. And that's what determines whether you're a real artist, a real musician or not. Like we've all fucking lived on ramen and spaghetti and fucking, mini ravioli out of the can. Do you know what I mean? We've all done that, but you get through that, and if you're still fucking rocking, you know what I mean? That's when you're the real shit. And the rest doesn't matter, because let's face it, people are fickle. So, and popularity is contingent on publicity rather than, true essence. So,
I like the way this is covered in glass. Covered in, is that plexi or glass?
No, it's real glass.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got the edges burnt on it.
Yeah, this is fabric that I burnt.
Was the fabric or the canvas found that way, or did you make the art and then burn around it?
No, this is one of my pieces.
Okay.
So I did the paper drawing, and I decided that I wanted it on fabric, and then when I laid it out, I was like, no, I wanted more layers. I wanted it to look like a map. So I perceived this as kind of an island, right? And like as part of the body of the goddess. So it's called La Conche Orgasmique. So it's kind of, if you look at it, the energy of it is purely sexually driven. It's like all this beautiful, sensual, soft places that are coming out and going in, and the energy is kind of, heading into orgasm. But I perceived it as in form. So it's kind of like if there was a goddess, if the world was a goddess, this would be her vulvic splendor. And so putting the fabric, I perceived it as kind of a map. You see, when you see an island, when you look at a map and there's islands and this and that, but it's the burnt fabric. And I associate fabric, especially of this color, with femininity, right? So it's kind of like those thoughts coming together, this idea of a landmass, this idea of femininity. And then I also like to use the elements. So there's fire and water in here. So I sprayed it with watered down ink. Same thing over here. Again, this idea of her kind of coming,
Like you mean orgasm?
Yeah, that's why it's orgasmique.
There you go.
La conche orgasmique.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love it. And then the frame is hilarious. My friend made the frame. We made it together. And I was like, let's get it all rusty, whatever. And he was like, okay. And he pissed on it. He pissed on it. And that's what creates the rust.
At what point did the burning edges come in? After the drawing was put on?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did the drawing and then I did the fabric. So the process is I did
Very
the
controlled
drawing.
burning.
It is. I'm actually really good at that. I was working with fire a lot and doing fire dancing and some photography and performances and films. A lot of fire going on at the time.
Do you have those batons where you have like
no batons. It was very direct. It was like direct fire. So
where is the fire? How do you hold the fire?
So what I was doing was I took lighter fluid. And instead of knives, so I would imagine I have lighter fluid, and I would have a candle, and I would take the lighter fluid and just start like this, and start like that, and then you dance around it, and then, and it's kind of around. So what happens is the flame goes up even into what you're holding. So you've got this pattern of fire happening as you're dancing, and then you're kind of being swirled in flames. It's really nice. So I did a performance of that a couple of times. It was just what I was doing in my studio, so when I did a show, I ended up just doing it. So
nice.
Yeah. And
good stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And if people want to see your work, is it all on Instagram, or do you have a website right now?
No, I'm on Saatchi. I'm on Saatchi Art.
Okay.
And
would you like to give out contact information if somebody would want to get in touch with you for whatever reason, maybe commission work or anything?
On Instagram at Lady Octopi.
Lady Octopi. Any dots or dashes in there or anything?
No, just Lady Octopi.
Lady Octopi.
Yeah.
LADYOCTOPI.
PIE. Yeah.
PIE,
like
a pie.
Yes, the infinite pie of the infinite universe.
Okay.
Lady Octopi.
At Lady Octopi.
Rula Kali Roi. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kali Roi.
Yeah, thank you. That was fun.